afternoon, everyone. It's Andrew Greenall here, your host of On the Ice. We are joined by Rob Pedersen, the head coach of the junior Drumheller Dragons 2008 team. Rob is going to be joining us today on the show to talk about the new program being ran out of Drumheller. And Rob is here with us now. So, Rob, let's take this and rock with it, shall we? Yeah, that's groovy. Come on, Rob. I know you were dancing behind the scenes.
That was
don't be bashful now. We know you were doing it.
I don't dance very well.
Wasn't that the best intro?
It was a great
Rob,
intro.
I tell you, that intro alone will just want to make anyone watch this show because it's got a beat, right? And if you don't got a beat, you ain't going to go anywhere. So I got a beat. You got a beat.
It'll certainly wake everybody up, that's for sure.
Exactly. We got to keep the show going. So, Rob, thank you so much for joining us on this Monday, March 15th. We're so happy to have you here to talk about the program that has been released by the Drumheller. The Drumheller Dragons are now going into the spring program, reaching out their realm, and they've decided to, unfortunately, bring you on. I've known you for quite some time, Rob. I'm hoping some fun. But I think this is great that you're able to bring a team to Drumheller and join the Dragons. What a great organization. What spawned this? What brought this on? Let's talk about that, and then we'll go into why the program. So let's start with that. What spawned this?
Well, the Drumheller Dragons Junior A Hockey Club that plays in the Alberta Junior Hockey League has been doing some skill development now for about 2, maybe even 3 years, where they do it during the week. And last year, when we were in a different program and we're looking for ice, they provided ice for us in Drumheller on the weekends in July and August, actually. And of course, this is just after COVID kind of hit. And this year, kind of the same thing evolved. We were basically in another program, and that program decided not to continue on. And the Dragons, who were already doing the 2008 born development program during the week, said, hey, why don't we do something together? You know, we can give you our expertise, and we do have ice time booked in Drumheller. So it was just a natural fit. And I actually have 3 players from Drumheller that have played for me for the last 5 years, I believe. So, I mean, everything worked out great.
So this was like a marriage made in heaven, basically. Landed on your lap, and you just swept her up, gave her a kiss, and said, let's move forward.
Yes, pretty much something like that. I mean, the cost of the ice was extremely affordable. The Junior Dragons have the insurance policy in place, so we didn't have to go out and get our own insurance policy. I brought to the table a complete team of 17 hockey players.
Mm-hmm. And just looking at their website, if you're new to our show, I have my other screen set up, so I read through notes, etc. And I'm just noticing that the Junior Dragons are now expanding into a U7 program, a U9 program, a U11 program, a U13 program, as well as your older group with your bantam and midgets. So that's your U15-ish, U19-ish players as well. And Rob, you guys fit right in there in the 2008 bracket. So being able to join the Junior Dragons must, I wouldn't say a dream come true, but to have this type of Junior A program backing a spring program must just be great for these players. How many of them are excited to get back on the ice with them?
Oh, we've been chomping at the bit. I mean, it's been 2 years since we played games, basically, you know, with COVID hitting. And once I chatted with the parent group of my players and said to them that, you know, we're going to go and we're going to practice in Drumheller. I mean, holy smokes, everybody was on board. And, you know, at this point, in Alberta, I'm not sure other provinces, but we are only allowed to practice, have 10 skaters on the ice, half ice. So that includes coaches. So we'll do like maybe 9 players and a coach on one side of the ice and 9 players and a coach on the other side of the ice. So it makes it a little bit challenging because our practices are 90 minutes and we will do 2 90-minute sessions in a day. So from my standpoint, to plan 180 minutes of half ice is extremely challenging. But the good thing is that the Dragons are going to provide some of their coaches who will run some of the practices and basically will give the kids a little different view and perspective, having different instructors, which I think is a great benefit to them. And for myself, I will be able to either watch or participate in these practices, more than likely watch because of the numbers on the ice. And it gives me a great learning tool as well.
That's excellent. Rob, we got to quickly have a stop here and take a quick commercial break, everyone. When we come back, we're going to talk to Rob more about the specifics of the program and what he's looking forward to the most. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to On the Ice. We're joined by Rob. Rob, it's again so great to have you on the show, and with just your experience in hockey over the years. So, Rob, do you see this as a plateau for a lot of spring teams that are now slowly joining up with junior programs throughout the provinces to help offer that extended period of ice for the players?
Yes, I definitely do. I mean, it's very similar to the Calgary Hitmen being under the umbrella of the Calgary Flames, whereas now, like the Drumheller Junior A Dragons, they basically control the rink in Drumheller, have a great following. There is a team going to develop this spring in Olds, Alberta, the Olds Grizzlies Junior A Hockey Club. So that'll be a first in Olds as well. So I think it's a natural thing. I mean, some organizations still will continue under their own umbrella, but as you know, the cost of ice is becoming so expensive, the insurance is expensive, whereas these junior organizations, they simply have all the tools to make it more cost effective. And I think it's a great thing. And, with our team, for example, we have mostly rural kids playing for me. I have a couple of boys from Sylvan Lake, Alberta that play on the team. I have a boy from Red Deer that plays on the team. I have 3 boys from Drumheller that play on the team. A boy from Cochrane that plays on the team. So we're all rural-based kids. And of course, they all follow the Dragons, the Olds Grizzlies, the Calgary Canucks, and I think back, Andrew, when my son first started playing spring hockey, and this is going back a few years ago, back in the Foothills Elite organization, which was one of the beginning founders of this whole spring hockey thing, we had players from Cranbrook. Ryan Chenouth, his dad, Jeff Chenouth, is the general manager of the Calgary Hitmen. Ryan played for years for me with my son. We had players from Golden, BC, players from Trail, Elkford, all coming into Airdrie for the weekend. Their parents would drop them off either with other families in Airdrie a lot of times I had 10 hockey players camped out in my basement, and that's how it all started. And it's a great atmosphere. The kids love it. You know, it's real hockey. I don't want to go too much down that road of the minor hockey philosophies, but it's real hockey. We play 3 20-minute periods. We have penalties and power plays. And we started that when the kids were knee-high to a grasshopper, teaching them breakouts, teaching them all the aspects of the game, no half-ice practices. And my son played 6 years in the Foothills organization. I coached, I think, 3 of the 6 years. And I had the fortune of coaching some extremely good players who played with my son. Josh Morrissey from the Winnipeg Jets, for example, was a Foothills elite player. Morgan Klimchuk, first-round draft pick of the Calgary Flames a few years back. Now I think Morgan's in the Ottawa Senators organization, played spring hockey with us. So, we did the 6 years and basically took the kids from whatever it was, Atom or novice, first year novice, and you'd play 2 years spring hockey, novice, 2 years Atom, 2 years Pee Wee. There's your 6 years going into Bantam. So I actually retired, and then my brother came to me and said, I want you to coach my nephew's spring hockey. And I got back into it, and that's kind of where we are today. And I made a commitment to this particular group that I would take them the full 6 years. And so now, it's been a little bit stretched out with COVID, but now we are into that 6th year. And, when my son played, I think we went into a 2nd year of Bantam, but then the kids really, a lot of them are going away to junior tryouts and clubs and that. And so this probably will be the last year, but again, it all depends upon my parent group.
Yeah. So what effects do you think that this is going to have now by your group, the 2008s, working hand in hand with the junior Dragons? Do you think this is going to bring in more players from the outlying communities that are within a 2-hour drive from Drum? Do you see this being beneficial to some of these younger players looking for on-ice guidance?
Absolutely. I mean, some people are against spring hockey because they say the kids should have other activities in their life. Number of my players play high caliber baseball. Hank Johnson out of Sylvan Lake made the Okotoks Dogs baseball team. And I have another player as well, Keaton Rusnak out of Red Deer. They play competitive baseball as well. So they get, different sports activities. We work around their schedule. Sometimes they make it to practices. Sometimes they don't. But for the most part, there's very little conflict. It always works out. Just having the Drumheller Dragons name says a lot. And you could see their program now, as you were looking, has really expanded since last year. And all these kids from the rural areas, they just want to play. They want to learn, and they just keep coming out. I only see this program expanding more and more every year.
So let's briefly talk about the program, Rob. To your knowledge, what's it going to look like for a player that's interested in the Junior Dragons? Are we going to see ice every day? Is it going to be every second day? Obviously, I forgot to tell you at the start, we're not allowed to say the C word or the L word on any of my shows. So we can't say the C word or the L word moving forward. I forgot to warn you about that. So pushing the C word to the side, what would an average day look like for these young players joining the Junior Dragons?
Well, there's kind of two sides to the coin, Andrew, in that the Dragons run their development program during the week. So they are strictly during the week, which you have seen online. And that's more individual skill development. So a lot of, the Power Edge Pro stuff, a lot of power skating, a lot of individual skill. Whereas with my team, we are only going to practice on the weekends because we have the kids traveling from so far away. not so far away, but Sylvan Lake is an hour and a bit. So we are only going to go on the weekends, and we've structured it so that we will be either on a Saturday or on a Sunday. Right now, the Dragons Junior A Hockey Club is back playing in their bubble. And so if they happen to have a Sunday afternoon game, for example, we will practice on a Saturday. So our parents will either come in Friday night, some of them camp in the campgrounds around Drumheller, but we will go, say, for example, from 9:30 a.m. on a Saturday to 11 a.m., and then we will have a break, and then we will go on maybe 2:30 to 4 or something like that. And so then we're done our 3 hours in one day. We're not splitting it up, so they got to come back again on a Sunday, or they have to stay overnight to be on a Sunday. We're going to get it all out of the way in one day. So ours is strictly on the weekends, Saturday or Sunday, 3 hours per day.
Do you think that's going to entice more players to join this style of program, where it's just going to be a one-day style program on the weekend? Do you see a benefit to that? Is a follow-up question.
Yeah, it's a great benefit, because these parents nowadays have their kids in so many activities, honestly, and I kind of think it's a little bit taxing on the boys, but of course I'm not the parent. But they are, the goalies are in goalie camps and goalie schools during the week. My players, I know most of them are taking power skating during the week. The boys in Drumheller that play for me are all in the weekly sessions with the Drumheller Junior Dragons. So the parents are really spending a lot of time taking their kids all over the place. So one day is extremely attractive. And we actually polled our parents before we set out our schedule as to, number one, which day did you prefer, Saturday or Sunday? And number two, did you want to do 3 hours in one day, or do you want to do both a Saturday and a Sunday? And the unanimous consensus was they all wanted to do it on Saturday, and they all wanted to do 3 hours in a day. They just want to come and be done with it. So the way I structure my program, and I have two great assistant coaches that help me out. Dennis Olson from Drumheller, his two boys has twins on the team. Dennis has been with me since day one. I think this is 5 years now. And Pete Gannett out of Crossfield. Pete's a great guy. This will be his first year with me, but he's been involved with spring hockey before. So we're hoping, Andrew, that by the time we hit the ice, which I believe is the 7th of April after Easter, we're hoping we'll be able to do full ice practices. That's the goal. Alberta Health Services is becoming more lenient, and they're opening up more things. So we have to abide by, their guidelines. But the goal is to go full ice practices. And what we'll do is, for the first practice, typically will be some individual skill development, nothing too strenuous, because we have another 90 minutes to go after lunch. And then after the lunch break in our second session, it'll be full pedal, throttle to the mat. We'll be doing systems. I run all the systems. Dennis and Pete are extremely good with the Power Edge Pro and the individual stuff, and I let them run either one entire practice or half a practice. We'll split it up. So the kids get a balance, right, of systems and conditioning, as well as individual skill development.
Excellent. Hold on to those thoughts, Rob. We got to take another quick commercial break. We'll be right back to learn more about the Junior Dragons program.
Hi, I'm JD Houghton, host of the SAS Sports Show. Catch it every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time for all things Saskatchewan sports.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8, Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome back to On the Ice. We're joined by Rob Pedersen, the head coach of the 2008 Junior Dragons team. The Junior Dragons are growing out in Drumheller and expanding their program to a weekly program, and Rob is running his over the weekends. Rob, what's a typical weekend going to entail once we do get rolling? Are we going to see similar, like, where's the team going to be placed?
Well, it will be, like I say, our one-day practice. We do have, I don't like to call them rules, but we do have guidelines that the team has to abide by, you know, getting there an hour before ice time, even though it's a practice, just we want to simulate games. You know, I always email the players the practice plan, usually 2 or 3 days before the practice. So I expect them to come to the rink ready to go, and not a whole bunch of time standing around drawing things out on the board. You know, I have a great website, that a coaching platform that I go and design the practices from. All the practices, Dennis Olson and Pete Gannett get them before the players get them, so we have a chance to chat about what we want to do and where we want to go. I use name recognition for the drills. So usually after the first 2 or 3 practices, well, it all depends on how many returning players we have. But I'll just blow the whistle. And for example, I'll say Wally Kozak 3-on-2. For those of you that don't know Wally Kozak, he's been around the hockey world forever. Great guy. And I have a great drill that Wally Kozak and Don Phelps used to use all the time with the Calgary Canucks. And I just blow the whistle and I'll holler Wally Kozak 3-on-2. And the kids know where to go. They know exactly what to do. So we don't have to go gather around the board and draw things out. This year, the team is we've been in a rebuilding stage. Last year, we won 4 out of 5 tournaments that we played in. And some of the players have gone on to different teams with different aspirations. So this year we'll take a few, but I have leaders on the team that are returning players like Paxton Olson, Cooper Olson from Drumheller, Ryan Schrock from Drumheller. So those 3 boys with Hank Johnson and Sullivan Hookie out of Sylvan Lake are all returning players, and they already know the drills. And then I have Matthew Gannett out of Crossfield, who was with us last year, and AJ Tarnowski out of Cochrane. These kids know the drills already. So if there's any questions by the new players, these kids are great leaders. They will walk the other kids through the drill if they have to. You know, we've got a Canada Cup warm-up drill that we start every practice off with, which is an incredible timing and flow drill that utilizes every inch of the ice with every player, the goalies, the pucks. And I mean, all I have to do is I'll be on the ice just before practice starts, and one of the boys will come up to me and say, Canada Cup drill, coach, let's get her going. And
so are we looking at mini tournaments like you were able to participate in last year, Rob, or do you think this year is going to be a little bit different for you and you guys will be just trying to hit up as many tournaments as you can?
Yeah, that's, you know, we've reached out to all of the old tournaments. I talked to a couple of weeks ago, I've been emailing with Cheryl Paulson of the Top Guns out of Canmore. She was not very positive. She has all the ice booked in Canmore, but she said, I don't know if we're going to be able to go. Generally, that tournament is the very first one we attend in April. And I did hear that the ice is gone now in Canmore. I can't confirm that, which would mean obviously there's no Top Guns tournament. Yeah,
That's
I
a little
know.
early.
Well, it had something to do with the Canmore Eagles Junior Hockey Club not being able to play. So again, I can't confirm that, but I'm pretty certain there is no ice in Canmore. The Stampede Challenge, which we won last year, we are defending champions. Boy, great news when the Stampede Challenge announced that they're going to go. And, the big thing is that all of our parents were and still are nervous about giving deposits to tournaments that don't happen. And I think by the Stampede Challenge making the announcement that they don't require deposits at this point, it is a fantastic idea. I mean, my group, if there was 5, 6, 7 tournaments, the parents would all be in. They want to go to these tournaments. So
it's funny you bring up the Stampede Challenge, because coming up in about 30 or in about 20 more minutes or so, we're actually going to have Matthew on the show talking about the Stampede Challenge. Funny you should bring that up.
Yeah.
I know that.
I've played in that Stampede Challenge. Well, I mean, coached in the Stampede Challenge years and years and years. Back in the day when the Stampede Challenge was actually owned by Kelly Bruce and the Foothills Elite organization, the kids got leather jackets for winning the Stampede Challenge. Incredible experience. I wasn't the coach back then when my son played, but my son got a leather jacket, and the coaches got white cowboy hats, kind of like at the city of Calgary, the white cowboy hats. Super, super, super big tournament back then. And then the Stampede Challenge now has progressed on its own, and they do a fantastic job. We love it's in Calgary. We love playing in the tournament. There's another great tournament, the Champions Cup in Winnipeg, which I had the extreme fortune of winning in the last year my son played, and that was back in the day when, like I said, my team was stacked. Josh Morrissey, Morgan Klimchuk from the Flames, Ryan Chenauth played in the Western Hockey League. Every single player that my son played with in that particular year in tournament went on to play a minimum of Junior A. And I'm talking 100% of the kids, a minimum of Junior A, and then some of them that played professional. And we played against all the kids out of British Columbia now that are playing. The one boy, I forget his name off the top of my head, plays for the Vancouver Canucks. The other one plays for the Calgary Flames. I mean, that was back in the day when there was not very many spring hockey teams, and you had to be the absolute best of the best. And we ended up knocking off the Winnipeg team in the semifinal, which was an extremely good team, and played the team out of Burnaby, British Columbia, and beat them in the final. And it was spectacular. So that's another tournament that I've heard still may go ahead, but things are a little different in Manitoba. So, we would be open to going back to that. So,
sorry, my apologies.
No.
Earlier you had brought up just a day program, and I took a note about how the parents voted on your team that they would be there for pretty much the whole day. And you brought up lunch. Team events, team functions, can you see these being different this spring and summer with a lot of organizations, not just hockey, but soccer, rugby, football? Can you see it as kind of changing? So maybe one kid over here, one kid over here for lunches in dry land and stuff. Is that going to be a little bit frustrating being a coach and wanting to build that team unity and not really having it?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. We actually experienced it last summer in July and August, so we're pretty familiar. I mean, last year and even right now, the parents are not allowed in the arenas. For practices, the parents usually will socialize, tailgate, whatever it is outside the rink. That probably will change. We do touch on nutrition with the boys. They do get a new pamphlet talking about nutrition. Last year, of course, all the concessions were closed in the arena, and this year they still are closed in the arena. So last year we would all congregate outside and have a barbecue and sit at picnic tables. That's again, we have to abide by Alberta Health Services. Maybe it's going to be one family per picnic table. Going to be really different. The kids like to play soccer in between in between, or just kind of hang out together in between the ice sessions. So again, that's something we're going to have to be very, very conscientious of.
The program as itself, could you talk about any of the possibilities, or not the possibilities, excuse me, can you talk about any of the COVID protocols that the Junior Dragons are bringing or going to be presenting to the parent groups?
Yeah, it's very, very strict right now. Everybody has to sign a waiver going into the rink to start with, which basically says that you don't have COVID. A couple of questions you got to, everybody, even the coaches, have to do that. In the dressing room, they have the 6 foot distancing sitting in the dressing room. Last year, we were not allowed to dress in the dressing room at all. So the boys had to dress outside in the parking lot. This year,
they should be used to that.
Yeah, exactly. This year, from what I understand, they are allowed to dress in the dressing room. But again, 6 feet apart, being that we have a full complement of players, 9 forwards, 6 defense, and 2 goalies, we will split up into 2 dressing rooms. I don't believe there's any showering allowed. There's just a whole list of rules, do's and don'ts, right? And I know the Dragons, the arena attendants were extremely diligent in monitoring that last summer. And I've heard again this year, I've talked to some of the parents that do that program during the week with the Dragons. Nothing has changed. It's all the same COVID protocols are in place and strictly enforced.
Rob, I want to take a quick commercial break as we're waiting for Matthew to join us to talk about the Stampede Challenge in our second segment here. Rob, just going to go to this quick commercial break. Hopefully Matthew will be able to join us. We're having some technical difficulties with him. And when we come back, if we haven't been able to get a hold of Matt, we'll continue with Rob here. Stand by, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On the Ice. We're still having some technical difficulties with Matthew, who was going to come on the show in our second segment here and discuss the Stampede Challenge. But we still have Rob here, who its team has joined the Junior Dragons program based out of Drumheller, Alberta. And Rob, while we got you here, let's just talk about what you see coming down the pipes out in Alberta right now. Some of our viewers watch clear across Canada and around the world. We do have viewers in Australia, in Russia, and China. So what's it looking like out in Alberta now for spring hockey? Has there been much talk about getting back on the ice for spring hockey, or is AHS slowly opening that back up for individuals like yourself that have a team ready, just you can't hit the ice? So what's it looking like?
Well, we know that we are going to be allowed on the ice. That's. I mean, they're on the ice right now. That's a guarantee. Some of the programs have folded. Sadly enough, I'm aware of a couple of programs that just simply didn't think there was anything going to happen, and so they have folded. The other thing is the HSL, the Hockey Super League that started out here. I have 3 players on my spring team. The Hockey Super League continued on as opposed, whereas everybody in Alberta knows minor hockey organizations shut down. But the Hockey Super League has extended their season right up to and including the end of June. So their players have been on the ice practicing. No games have been allowed. Alberta Health Services still is not allowing games, and that's going to be the big thing, right? Is that for my program, we're going to practice with the end goal that we're going to be able to play games, be it exhibition games, be it tournaments, whatever. I'm going to structure my program with the end thought that we're going to play games. It may not happen. Nobody knows exactly. I'm hoping that it will happen. I'm optimistic that it will happen. You know, I mean, you've got the junior A teams that are playing now in their bubble. You've got the Western Hockey Leagues playing in their bubble. So everything is dependent upon Alberta Health Services. Things have been slowly opening up. They just opened up gyms in the last little bit. The funny thing about gyms, for our viewers that don't know, is you are allowed to go to a gym. However, you are not allowed to get your heart rate above normal.
Really?
Exactly. They don't, because Alberta Health Services says that COVID is spread by people huffing and puffing and all that sort. Even though you have to wear a mask in the gym, they are not allowing any activities in gyms that raise your heartbeat above normal.
Huh. Okay.
So I
got nothing.
I posed, my question was, because now the group that I coach are going into first year bantam, which is full contact hockey. So I'm taking a Pee-wee group, and we always play the year that they're going into. So we will be full contact hockey. My question to some of the people surrounding me was, are we going to be able to scrimmage, for example, in practice? And the answer is no, clear cut no. Okay, are we going to allow one-on-one drills, for example, where there's body contact? The answer is no. So we're still going to have to play by the non-contact rules that these kids have been playing with anyways, with the hope and thought that they will allow us to go back to normal. That's the, and I kind of think they are going to. We've seen so much change in a positive direction in the last month. And if things keep going, you know, especially with the vaccine being out, everybody being vaccinated, I think by the time we hit the ice, there will be some improved guidelines for us.
Well, at least that's a little bit of good news to look forward to, eh, Rob? You might be able to get to play by hitting kids.
Well,
Rob, I've just been notified. I've just been told by our producer, Matthew, has finally been able to join us. So, Rob, please stay for the rest of the show if you don't mind. Do you have some time to stay with us?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as I can, I will stay.
All right, sir. So just give me a few seconds here. Let's bring in Matthew Strong, the owner and current CEO of the Stampede Challenge. Matthew, sorry, I understand we were having some technical difficulties.
Yes.
Happy to finally get you on the show, buddy. Welcome. Yeah, thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know that it's been a busy last few weeks with you. Finally Rob alluded, we were just speaking with Rob, one of the coaches for the 2008 Junior Drumheller Dragons, and they are excited to participate. So, Matthew, how excited are you guys to at least open up registration? And actually, let's start with this. How is it, and how is your blood pressure? Because I know that it's been going off the hook, but anyway, how are things?
Yeah, I don't think words can really put it well enough how excited we are. It's been a lot of work to get it just even to this point, and we know that there's a lot of work that lays ahead still. But to be able to open registration and be given that conditional approval that we are going to start reopening and things are going to start getting back to normal there's a lot of emotions that go along with it. So we're just really excited. We're excited to be able to play, get the tournaments going again. We're also excited for the kids to be able to be back on the ice. I think it's all about that mentally, us coming back to a better reality, which I think we're all excited for.
Now, some of the exciting news too, let's share with our viewers. The Stampede Challenge has been around for eons. What year are we going into now with the Stampede Challenge, Matthew?
We're going into the 28th year of the Stampede Challenge. So I actually played the
28th year.
Stampede Challenge when I was little. So it's been around a long, long time.
Just as I'm bringing up here, I'm trying to bring up your website for our viewers, but just fill everybody in on the background of the Stampede Challenge. Been around for 38 years. What does a typical weekend look like?
So the format that we've ran with for at least the last 20 or 15 years is it's everyone's guaranteed 4 games. You play, all teams play 2 games on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, and then Sundays are our playoff formats. We run these so this year that our youngest age groups will be our 2014 born players, and then our oldest age groups will be our 2006 born. Yeah, 2006 born. And then we also have 3 female divisions as well. The format for all the divisions stays the exact same. And then, yeah, that's basically about it.
Now, I have you up, Matthew, with your website there to either your left or your right. But phenomenal amount of players have actually come through this tournament, and it's clearly showing here some Islander players have come through there. A lot of alumni have participated in this tournament. So what does it mean to you guys to actually be able to get back on the ice this year and provide such a great product to young players?
Obviously it's huge. It's great to be back. We're very thankful and fortunate to be back. It's funny that you brought up our alumni or people who have come through the tournament, because that's one of the things that we were talking about when like our directorship group here, is that there's a lot of history that's come through this. There's a lot of amazing hockey players that have come through this. And so we started discussing at high level, like what would this look like if we started to make like a Hall of Fame? How would this look? And we started rattling off names, and it just kept going and going. And then it went to the next day. And the next thing you know, like we got a list that's got 4 or 5 Stanley Cup champions, like just under 20 Olympians when you count in our female groups as well. And we're just like that is really neat to be a kid to come on and be playing a weekend. Like I looked back at the tournaments I was in as a kid, of whether it be Kibit or the Quebec Pee Wee tournament. It almost, the experience becomes even bigger because you feel like you're stepping in with history. And so we thought, like, if we can even get a small part of that, it makes the experience even better for the kids. And that's kind of what that Hall of Fame was designed to do.
Yeah, and just bringing up here, let's go back to the registration here, Matthew, because I'm really excited. You guys have been able to open this up, and there's a rumor you are not taking a deposit.
Yes, that's actually kind of, so last year was a learning experience for a lot of people, us included. And this year we kind of looked at it like, well, what we tried our hardest and what we ended up drawing the line on is we went out and negotiated our ice contracts, where the money, we don't have to put anything down for our deposits until we've reached step 4 of Alberta's health plan of reopening. And we thought in turn, like, well, we need to pass this on to our team. So we're going to allow teams to reserve their spot, but nothing becomes like an obligation until we have that formal approval to go. So it kind of gives us the benefit of both sides, where we're able to plan like what our size is going to be, how we are going to set up our divisions without actually having to be tied financially to anything, which I think was really big for teams this year. We also have teams for the teams that we're going to attend last year that have credits that of money that wasn't able to be refunded to them. This gives them an option to sign up, put in their credit voucher, so that we can start planning everything around that, essentially. But yeah, so right now when we launched it, the big part of what us launching was it's either going to be, we're not going to launch until we know we can go, or if we do launch, then we're not taking money down. We're making it on a reservation basis.
Makes a lot of sense to do it that way, Matthew, if you think about just the trouble that we all went through last season. Matthew, hang on here. We got to take a quick commercial break, sir. We'll be right back with some more information on the Stampede Challenge. Welcome back to the show. On the ice today is joined by Matthew Strong, the CEO and director of the Stampede Challenge. Matthew, some great news. That's exciting to hear that you guys have been able to launch and take in teams. Can you give us an update of how many teams have actually shown interest and put in their name into the hat?
Actually, that is something where when opening this with my brother, who also works closely with me on this, I was a bit concerned because I thought there might be a bit of hesitation. We opened, I think, at 10 p.m. Pacific time, so about 11 p.m. Mountain time is when we actually sent it live. And before midnight, we had 6 teams register. When I woke up the next morning at around 6:30 Pacific, we were at 12 teams, and by the end of the day, we're at 20. We're now at the last check, we're at 27 teams.
How's this going to look this year? Are we going to be able to see any of our American friends come up, or are you just keeping it to?
So right now we're on the reservations. We're just doing Alberta and other provinces. How our understanding of the reopening is that once we reach step 4 of Alberta's reopening, that will include interprovincial travel for leisure. So we felt comfortable that if we reach step 4, then the tournament's allowed to go, then our teams from out of provinces are allowed to come as well. Everything with the border, from our understanding, is going to be tied to when that federal mandated border closures is. So we're not saying no right now. We just are saying, let's wait, I guess.
At least we get a tournament. Hopefully we'll get some normalcy and get to see some of these awesome players hit the ice. And, it's fabulous to know that the Stampede Challenge, being around as long as it has, is now able to come back and hopefully get everybody back into the seats to watch some good spring hockey and work on their suntans.
Yeah.
Matthew, I just want to bring in Rob here to our stream, just so we can finish up as a group. Yeah. There he is, Mr. Rob. So let me unmute you, Rob. So Rob's one of the participants that's going to hopefully be taking part in the Stampede Challenge this year. Rob, do you have any inspirational words for Matthew to keep his chin up? Or
everything's getting better. We're looking forward to it, Matthew. We don't have our registration in yet. I just checked with my manager, but I coached the Foothills Elite 08s last year. We won the tournament. Yep. So we are back in, just to let you know. But we're now called the the Drumheller Junior Dragons. We're under that program.
Okay.
So I just got a text message from Stephanie Gannett, our manager, and she said that she's been busy with calving season. They're farmers.
Oh yeah, I know that time of year. I grew up on farms.
It's going to be great. I mean, I honestly believe that the Stampede Challenge will go ahead. I think we're on the right track, and I mean, we all just have to stay positive. Andrew, I forgot, sorry, jumping around, but I wanted to send a special shout out to Darren Schrock out of Drumheller. His boy plays for the Junior A Dragons, and his younger boy plays for me. Darren's done a lot of work behind the scenes to get us ice time in Drumheller. And of course, Stephanie Gannett, our manager, as we know, without managers, we couldn't survive. But
okay, Rob, enough about you.
We're excited. We're excited.
We're here to talk about Matthew. Stop stroking everybody else's egos.
No.
You gotta throw out a thank you to Matthew for finally making it onto the show.
Completely with Robert on this. There's so many people to thank that if we are able to run, or even spring programs are able to start going, there's so many people who have put so much work in behind the scenes that you could probably spend all day thanking people.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just want to say before I go, looking forward to it, Matthew, and it'll be great.
Yeah, it will be. We're excited.
I gotta go.
I'm excited too. Well, you take care, Mr. Rob. Thanks for joining us today. We'll talk to you soon, sir. Matthew, thanks so much for making yourself available. I know it was kind of a last-minute thing for you and trying to get you on today. I hope all the registrations slowly start to come in for you, and you guys are able to get this spring tournament thing going.
We're looking forward to it.
Matthew, thanks for jumping in at the last minute there, buddy. Really appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for watching us today on the ice. We hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll be back for a full week. Take care, Matthew. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.